10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Hello and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Whack Whack Attack. Today is March 29th and we've got a really quick episode for you today. It might even actually be less than 10 minutes, but probably not. Okay, so let's start with this article that Mike Siragadze wrote yesterday. This is from the founder and CEO at ether.fi, and ether.fi, I believe, are setting up a staking service. So why am I starting with this article? Well, the title is It's Not Winner Stake All. I think it should have been Not Winner Stakes All, but that's fine. It says a love letter to our competitors, and that's crossed out and it says staking friends. So let's have a look at what Mike has to say. So in the beginning, he starts talking about Bitcoin and how it was launched, and how, Mike fell in love with the idea of stateless currency. And then he has this interesting comment here. He says, after Satoshi became ill in 2011 and passed away in 2014, basically he's insinuating that Hal Finney was Satoshi Nakamoto. Maybe Hal was. I think that's what I lean towards as well. But anyway, he was talking about how the Bitcoin community shifted, how it kind of became ossified and divided, and there were like, fork wars and all that kind of stuff. But then when Ethereum came around, Mike says it blew his mind. Like Ethereum blew his mind, and staking was what was one of those things, and how it tried to build a more perfect system. So, he talks about how staking is a mechanism for consensus, a proof of stake is, and that it adds a native interest rate for the Ethereum economy. Then he talked about how 1559 kind of balances out inflation through staking, and how people who stake get kind of the share of the economic activity in the network. So it was just like a nice little intro, and he talks about all the reasons why I love staking. So he says staking infrastructure and services are the foundation of everything, the essential public good that must remain decentralized and composable. In the broadest sense, it's not surprising to me that Lido, a staking protocol, now is the largest DeFi project. I think staking will continue to be a large share of DeFi for a few years at least, until the application layer eventually overtakes, which I'm really excited about eventually happening. So let's go on to this next section, the one that I really wanted to highlight, and then talk a little bit about. So it says competitors, and it's crossed out, and it says staking friends. So it says, with Shanghai around the corner, I think there are going to be many flavors of staking for different use cases. This is healthy for the ecosystem. I hope and believe that all of us who are building in the space can find ways to work together and interoperate for the good of the users and the ecosystem. With that said, I want to talk about what I love about some of the folks in the space building, and why it's interesting and valuable. I hope I don't do too bad a job, but if I don't represent something accurately, please reach out and help me correct it. So then he starts off with Rocket Pool. He says these guys are the OGs. This team started working on decentralized staking in 2016, 2017. At the very beginning of the conversation about migrating to proof of stake, they pioneered many of the concepts we now take for granted and got an amazing number of things right. The team has always shown that they prioritize doing things right and the health of the ecosystem above any short-term gains. They're already one of the biggest staking protocols, and I'm sure they'll continue to grow and be a force for good in the ecosystem. Rocket Pool is great for liquid staking, and it's easily the best solution for solo stakers. The smart node tooling is phenomenal. It makes it super easy to get started and run your staking node. The Rocket Pool community is incredibly passionate and generally awesome. It's clear that they love Ethereum and their heart is in the right place. One example is their self-limiting governance proposal in the interest of Ethereum decentralization. I'm super excited about their Atlas release and 8 ETH mini pools. So I think that comment from Mike was really nice about Rocket Pool. Definitely checks off a bunch of the strengths of the protocol, the team, the community, all of that good stuff, which is really great. Then he goes to talking about Lido, about how they were able to step up in a way when otherwise it would have just been exchanges, and that would have been really bad. They got LSTs out first, which was great, and then talking about how Lido version 2 looks positive, and how it'll be good basically. Stakewise version 3 says it's the next gen staking protocol with some really unique and powerful functionality. In many ways, it can be thought of as a meta staking protocol that allows anyone to create their own liquid staking token and pool. The team is super innovative and building things the right way with consideration for the mechanisms of staking, slashing protection, permissioned and permissionless LSTs and more. And then goes on and talks a little bit more about Stakewise. And then Diva Labs, about they're building their own DVT tech. Puffer is unique among staking protocols because they use hardware validators, key storage. It's a game changer. I think eventually this will be known for all staking. And then gives honorable mentions to Frax and Stader as well. So the reason why I wanted to talk about this article and like really bring it to everyone's attention is because we all want Ethereum to succeed, right? Like that is the first reason why we are staking with Rocket Pool and are part of the Rocket Pool community, is because we are aligned with the idea that we want Ethereum to be as robust as possible. Now, I've talked recently about how Rocket Pool can help Ethereum be more robust, but I really think it's a good time to talk about how we really should pay attention to all the different staking services that are out there. And of course, always remember that solo staking is the fundamental block of all of that. Staking at home, your own 32 ETH, like running your own software is like the gold standard, right? That's the gold standard. However, that is not something that everyone will want to do, whether that's because of profit motives, because that's because of like software requirements that, Ethereum requirements or software hardware requirements, whatever those issues are. For some reason or other, they might not be able to do that and they choose to use a service. Well, now we're going to have a whole bunch of different services that people can choose from. Of course, you know, I'm a Rocket Pool community member, Rocket Pool staker, node operator. I spend time every day thinking and talking about Rocket Pool. Like, I love Rocket Pool, but I'm going to be really open about talking about other projects. Like, I talk about other projects sometimes, but I really like this this post because I think it's going to bring some of those things to attention, where, you know, we can help each other out, especially as we get to 22%, which I hope will happen very soon. You guys might start, you know, hearing me talk more and more about other solutions, like some that Mike mentions here, like Stakewise version 3 that I've talked about before, Lido that I've talked about before, Diva I've not really talked about, or Puffer or Frax, but Stader I've talked about before as well, and Rocket Fuel. So you'll be hearing potentially in the next year or so, like maybe 2 years, you know, we'll really start talking about other staking solutions just to make sure that Rocket Pool doesn't reach that 22%, right, and takes a share of the network that can be outsized. But the key thing to remember is, for all of us, is that, you know, we want Ethereum to succeed, and without Ethereum succeeding, then none of these projects will succeed. So I'll be talking about this a lot more in the coming weeks and months, but I really like this idea of, like, you know, staking friends, all of us working together, and you know, we'll help each other when we have the right values and the right like fundamentals, and then we'll try to help each other when we feel like they're doing things in a way that could be better. So I really like that from Mike. Thanks for writing the article. Okay, next we've got a couple of updates from Joe, and like I said, today's episode is going to be really quick, so we'll probably race through it quite quickly. Joe yesterday says that the release candidate version 3 is ready to go, and they wrote some warnings about closing meaning pools with sub 32 ETH in balance. And like what kind of warnings can come up. So there's some screenshots of the different mini pools that are available, and there's a warning mini pool blah 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 has an effective balance of 31.99916 ETH. Closing it at this state will result in the loss of ETH. You will only receive 15.99 ETH back. Please confirm you understand this and want to continue closing the mini pool. So that's like, you know, if you started a mini pool, you got some leakage, inactivity leakage, or maybe you got slashed or something like that. So there's going to be that warning in the software about closing those mini pools. And then there's Joe says do this if you have more than the user deposit 32 bond and 31.5 ETH, and then it gives you the information about that as well. So there's some little updates that are coming through, yeah, they won't let you like do things unless you like, you know, respond to the prompts in a certain way. So release candidate 3 will have all the updated software, all the updated versions. So that's good. And then that version was locked. And then we got an update from Joe here saying that yeah, version 1.9.3 release candidate 3 for Gully testing. This is not for mainnet, don't use it on mainnet. This is a comparatively small number of changes over RC2, primarily intended to support the contract change mentioned in protocol earlier to address a bug bounty submission. That being said, there are a few interesting features of note and summarized below. So all the clients are up to date. The node process now has automatic duty, which is distribution, and then snapshot voting from the node has been updated too. So that's all really cool. Yeah, and then Joe was asking for some more updates on like what you want the prompts to look like in your smart node stack, depending on like the situation about like being a new staker. So I was getting some information from the community about that. And the last thing I want to talk about is this Lido chart, well, RPL versus Lido chart. So as you can see, let me make it a bit bigger, and sorry if it's cutting off on the screen, but basically in August of 2021, that's kind of when like September 2021 is kind of when RPL hit its lows against Lido over the last couple of years, and since then it's been doing really well, and we've kind of had like this 1, 2, 3 kind of triple top thing, and now it's kind of approaching those higher bounds again. So it's going to be really interesting to see what this chart does. Like I said, like I'm not a TA channel, like I'm not really here to talk about price, but that relationship between the RPL token and the Lido token, I think, is a good idea of like what the strengths of what the wider like crypto community see as like the balance between the two protocols, and the fact that the RPL token is like trading so high to the top end of that valuation is something really interesting to look at. But anyway, I'm going to end the episode here today. It's like I said, it's a really quick one. There weren't too many updates. Things are a bit slow. I guess it's the calm before the storm. But I will see you all tomorrow with more updates. If I've missed anything, please share it with me in the Rocket Fuel submission channel, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good rest of your week, and yeah, be good to each other. Bye.